Now, we actually want to talk run-outs in this Inside Edge. Now, the reason we're doing that is because, obviously, Ross Taylor's batting out there at the moment. He's getting a bit of a torrid time. He's in his swan song, and he's also at the top of the tree when it comes to run-outs for New Zealand. So let's have a look at a run-out that's happened in this game. So we've got some context and, you know, another reason. And this was Young. Took off, got sent back. I don't know why it was quite casual, actually. I don't know why he got sent back. He went so far because his partner at the other end wasn't interested in actually taking the run. That was Conway. He was just stood there. So Young goes. I got Brendon McCullum. I got Katey Martin and run out. Is run out the worst way to get out? Well, hang on. I won't ask you. You ask. Okay. Because
I'll have my time.
Yeah. So, Katey, how many innings have you had in the Super Smash, Dream 11 Super Smash this season?
7.
You've had 7 innings?
Yep.
How many times have you been run out?
4.
4 times in 7 innings.
So actually,
that's great numbers.
It is great. I'm quite proud of that. I will blame Susie Bates because she's been involved in all of those. But I will say that in the HBJ, which is our 50 over format, I haven't actually been dismissed. It's a red anchor, which, you know, good for the average. And then in the first 3 games, I got run out. So no bowlers actually got me out. So I feel like, you know, looking at the positive glass half full situation.
No, sorry. You've been run out 4 times in 7 pads.
The last one, actually, though, I gave up my wicket, so I ran back for the second. Well, it's probably not ran. I wouldn't say I ran fast. I'm 36 now. But, gave up the wicket so I could get back for Susie to be on strike. So I feel like
still technically a dismissal, though.
It's the worst.
I just want to be positive here, Brendon.
It's the worst way to get out, isn't it?
Yeah.
You remember that game in Sydney and the wicket was zipping around and me and you were batting together and it was really difficult, so you thought you should run yourself out?
Oh, I remember it vividly, yeah. And I have a slight different recollection than what you do. And I think at the time, the late, great Richie Benno said that you turn your back on me. And that's a travesty, an older player turning his back on
turning your back on
a young player starting out.
Me turning my back on you had nothing to do with running between the wickets at the time, I can promise you that.
You just wanted to play more white ball cricket, didn't you? And you were like, well, this is my chance, Brendon. You've got 30 years on me. And
I think they were after different types of players, so I'm not sure we're actually ever competing.
Yeah, I got a list of... the reason we're doing this, because we are in a way celebrating Ross Taylor's career, aren't we? He's obviously in all of our...
Funny way to celebrate.
I know, it's like we're going to celebrate it by having a pop at him about his running between the wickets. Because he leads the New Zealand list of players who have been run out. Now, what this means here, if you have a look at this graphic, so Ross Taylor, he's been run out 73 times in his career. Self-out means that you're the one that's out. So these are the involved in run-outs. So he's been involved in 73 run-outs. Of those 73, 33 times he's the one that gets run out. And 40 times of those 73, it's his partner. So fairly 50-50 there, showing that the partner's the one that generally suffers.
Where's your name on that list,
Rigger? I've got Rigger's stats here if you want to know them. He played 42 games, did Rigger, and he was involved in 7 run-outs, which is 16.6%. Reasonable sort of...
It's not bad.
Reasonably hot. It's not great. Reasonably high percentage. The worst percentage out of everyone on that list, save you having to do your own maths at home, Chris Harris, 21.9%. He played 273 games and he was involved in 60 run-outs.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be because Harry's sort of batted in the lower middle in one-day cricket, where you at that point in time, you're pushing it, aren't you? You're looking for singles, you're looking to turn 2s into 3s, 1s into 2s, and you're batting at the end.
Maybe, but he was only run out 19 times out of the 60. So,
right.
Yeah, just we're seeing we are celebrating Ross Taylor. He played 446 games, so his percentage is just a little bit better than yours, 16.3%.
I see. They used to talk about running with... you've got Ross Taylor and you've got Kane Williamson. Now, together, most run-outs by a pair for New Zealand is Ross Taylor and Kane Williamson. Would that be because you've got 2 great players who are just sort of in a world of their own while they're out there?
Maybe. See, Kane Williamson, they bat together a lot, I guess, as well. That's the other thing. But Kane Williamson, only 12.5%. He's played 311 games for 39 run-outs. That's a pretty low percentage, 12.5%. That's actually the third lowest on the entire list, Brigger. So he's not a bad runner. We have this perception that he's a bad runner. Maybe he's just a bad runner when he bats with Ross.
Well, I think that's true, though, isn't it? How many times do you go, oh, Ross Taylor, Kane Williamson, they're probably going to run each other out some way?
I think that's because you run in pairs. So,
Well, when you played, there was a runner, so you had the third one square leg, didn't you?
But I guess the whole point with it is you've got to understand who you're with. And this is probably a lesson for younger players out there, is you've got to know who you're with. You've got to understand their body language.
I'm not sure you're qualified to give advice on this.
Look, if I hit it, I want to run, all right? It's simple as that. So if you're running at the other end with me, I hit it, take off.
So you're saying, so is this actually about Ross Taylor or is it about Mark Richardson and Brendon McCullum?
Yeah.
So I feel like you're actually reminiscing, and now you're telling Brendon what you should have told him 20 years ago.
This is an inside edge. This is an intervention, isn't it?
Well, what I'd also
What am I here then?
What I'd like to add to that as well, Katey, I was on that list right at the bottom with 36 runouts, but my percentage was only 8.3%. So when we're dialing it way back to that day that Brigger believes that the run out was my fault, I think the percentages would say that he's twice as bad a runner than what I am. So I think the blame firmly lies at your feet.
Actually got a text from John Cunningham from Wellington. Running between the wickets in Wellington can be tough because you got to run into the wind. So you got to actually think about who's the one running into the wind if it's a quick single. Because obviously running with the wind, you're going to be a lot faster.
If you're cooling downwind as well, you're not
can't hear. Yeah, you got to yell and scream. It's exhausting. It's difficult. And Nathan Astle run me out for 89 in Wellington one year.
Nathan Astle's on the list.
Yeah, he's rubbish.
47, 308 games, average of percentage of 15.2, so still better than you.
Yeah, he never called. He just sort of grunted and took off. Anyway, John Cunningham from Wellington. He thought Andrew Jones. Remember Andrew Jones? You know, a player sort of batted in his own world, but no, doesn't even feature on the list. Doesn't even feature on the list.
I actually played a game in Wellington. It was for New Zealand against Australia, and I was running with Lee Casbrook, and I'd hit it down to long on, and I'd run, turned back, and then said no. Lee's just gone in and out, didn't know where the ball's gone and got run out, and she still didn't know whether the bowler had there's a bit of awareness as well. But
4 runouts and 7. I'm not sure you're qualified to give advice either on this.
It's really
my issue was always
finding a reason here, Brendon.
I was always slower. Everyone thinks about running between the wickets, it's about singles, but the issue I had is that when you're batting with someone who's a lot faster, they'd be wanting to come back for 3 and you're completing your second. So quite often I had to say, look, I'm struggling here, just tie-ho, we're only running 2.
You got overlapped, didn't you?
Yeah. Look, anyway, that was your inside edge for day 4. So, which was really just a bunch of dribble, really. A couple of people just whinching and moaning about each other's running between the wickets.